Hello, fellow nerds. Welcome to another episode of Simply Nerdy. This is Anthony hosting today, and I am joined by the usual panel. And today we wanted to share our thoughts and impressions on the remake of Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Now, 3 out of 5 of us are longtime fans, and the other 2 are newbies, and we just seems like we've all been enjoying our time so far. So I thought, we might as well share our thoughts and explain what we've been enjoying about it. So I think we should probably start with the fresh meat and turn it over to either Steven or Austin to go first and kind of explain what your experience has been like so far, what you've been enjoying or what you haven't been, or just kind of general impressions.
Go ahead, Austin. Where do we start? Without anything to compare it to, I can just say right off the bat, it feels like a solid game. It feels like something that would have come out for the Switch. Like, it doesn't necessarily feel like it was a remake, which is great when they do a remake like that. Some of my favorite things about the game have been because I'm super unfamiliar with how it was originally on GameCube, but I love the music. I love a lot of the nods and references to previous, to themes from previous Mario games. So that's been really cool. The characters are a lot of fun. The animations are top notch. And speaking of animations, I don't have any issue with the 30 FPS, the frame rate. So I don't know what people are griping about with the 60, having it not be 60, but it's phenomenal. I love it. It's been fantastic so far.
Yeah, it kind of seems like.
But then again, I am a filthy casual, so.
I was going to say, I feel like most of the people who are complaining are just kind of, I guess, a little miffed at the idea that the original was in 60 FPS and then 20 years later it's not. But I don't know. My counter to that is, with all the improvements it's seen, and then also the fact that this isn't, some sort of super competitive online FPS. What difference does it make? It's kind of my opinion. So I'm happy to hear you say that. You win points there. Good job.
Yeah, I also win points if I second that notion. If I second
yes, you also get points.
You get half points.
Yes!
I said it first.
Oh, come on. Fine.
And share points.
I want to second what Austin said. The game was incredible. I cannot put it down. And I typically, I guess I can't say it anymore. I like them. I like games like this. This is what I was hoping. Yeah,
because the boy always says he doesn't like RPGs.
Nope, and I've been slowly converted to the dark side.
The Renaissance has begun.
It's been a kicking and screaming thing, you guys.
It's true. It has for years.
Rude to our friend.
For years. No, it's true. This is what I was hoping that Origami King would have been. Origami King was great. Granted, I never beat it, but it's just when I started a battle and I had to align the enemies first before I could just battle. The battling itself was fun. Mechanics were fun, except for aligning everything. This is just, you start a battle and you just get to start battling, and it just feels so good. I love the audience that watches you and the interactions you have with the audience, and with them throwing both good and bad things at you. And I tend to just see an X in the crowd and hit the X button and just knock whatever's in their hands out, whether or not it's a good item or not, and what I need. And I need to stop just pounding that when I see it and just observe what's going on first. There was a couple of moments in this game where my jaw literally dropped because I can't believe they just did that, because it is not a typical Nintendo game. There are some scenes in here where I was like, what? That just happened? And I wish I could remember one where I would almost... there was one I laughed out loud at, and I don't remember what it was anymore. But it's a fantastic game. Like what's already been said, the visuals are great. 30 FPS does not bother me whatsoever. It looks fantastic. I'm impressed multiple times with how many characters are on screen. Multiple times. And how many people are actually following you and your partner around. And it's no frame rate problems whatsoever, and I can appreciate that. The performance for it, in my book, is more important than anything else, and it just runs buttery smooth.
Exactly.
And I'm impressed. And the visuals look, like I said, visuals look fantastic.
Well, why don't we have you go next, Lisa? You can share your thoughts, and then I can kind of share mine.
How am I supposed to be a contrarian if there's nothing to be contrary to? Okay. I will set up my case, my soapbox, as it were. Apparently, I'm the only person that really is very, very fond of a lot of the songs in Thousand Year Door. Anthony is a fan of at least one song, which he pointed out in the Discord.
Well, there's more. There are more, but go on.
I said at least one song.
Yeah.
Real in here.
So Anthony had to do some convincing to get me to try and be on board with giving the new music a chance, which I did want to give it a chance. I'm just skeptical. Let me put on my skepticals. I feel like I tend to especially do this thing where if I heard a song a certain way the first time and I loved it, it coming back around and being different, I don't tend to react kindly to that. But I will say I've been pleasantly surprised because there are actually, I would say, most of the songs that I've heard that have been the new ones have not been disappointing. Like, I've actually been like, oh, this is good, and I might even say it's better. I think that mostly applies to Rogueport because the original Rogueport is extremely discordant, I would say. I mean, I like it, but it is very discordant, and it makes me think of a Homestar Runner gag. And the new one doesn't do that as much. So, however, there are others where I feel like they took out some things that I thought made it fun, so that's unfortunate. In order to make it more orchestral, they got rid of some of the personality. I will say the one that I was not a fan of at all is Petalburg, which I kind of expected to happen because Petalburg was one of my favorites from the original. I love that song. So, they did not do it justice in my opinion. If I'm going to get technical about it, in my opinion, they got rid of the dissonance in the song, the clashing notes that are really fun, and they just softened them way too much, and it doesn't sound quite as silly and floaty. It just kind of sounds like a peaceful town instead of like a silly peaceful town. I don't know. Yeah. I actually do think that the new version of Petal Meadows is at least as good, maybe better. I can maybe try and post a comparison. Sorry, Ant.
So listen, Lisa admitting the new songs are good or maybe even better is almost as big as Steven saying he likes RPGs now. So.
Yeah. It is true. I will say
it is true.
There are several songs where I'm there is not a chance that I will like the new one better. So I'm kind of waiting for those to come around and be
I think you still need to give them more of a chance.
Okay.
Well, the one that you talked to me about, the one you named specifically in the Discord, I feel like it's actually quite faithful, even in terms of some of the instrumentation it uses, but makes it so much more melodic. I like it about 100 times better. And I will say, I will say, I was not a fan of the original song, and you were. So that's something to consider. That's something to consider.
So to be clear, I love that song because it is ridiculous and weird, and I listen to it when I'm mad, and it helps me be less mad.
The mysterious song that we're not naming.
Yeah. Anyway,
I want to say, Lisa, I'm on your side with Petalburg.
Sorry.
Well, I am too. I
don't remember the original music enough, so most of the time I'm just ignorantly blissful with the new songs and enjoying them. But because people were pointing out that Petalburg in specific, I was like, well, I better listen to this. And I was like, no, the original is clearly the winner here.
Huzzah!
Petalburg was the only one that bothered me in game. I mean, all the others I just kind of listened to without really trying to mentally compare it to the original. But Petalburg is easily my favorite song from the original soundtrack. Yeah. And for me, it wasn't so much the discordant notes that kind of
are missing.
Yeah, I know you do. For me, it was the punchiness of the beat, the underlying. So
that's true.
Yes.
What I was missing was, in the original, it kind of has this really strong like,
Very bouncy.
Yeah, very bouncy. It just makes it feel lively. That was significantly softened in the reorchestration, and I still learned to like it for its own right. But but that was, see, for me, here's how I would delineate the difference between Lisa's musical preferences and my own. Because generally speaking, at least in the initial instance of music being released, we have similar preferences, but we diverge when remakes happen. And what I find is that for Lisa, she latches on to the sound of a song, and I tend to latch more on the feel of a song. And so,
That's
Lisa
a good
will...
description.
The sound
Lisa
affects the feel.
I was gonna say the same thing, Lisa. I was like, for some people, at least for me, when I listen to like a studio album version of a song versus going to live, when they take away some of the little, I'm being very nitpicky
Background
about
vocals
it,
or something. Yeah.
there's like little instrumental nuances to the studio version that I love hearing, and sometimes they don't do it in the live version, and it affects the feel. Absolutely.
Okay, so
well, now hold on. You guys didn't let me finish.
I get what you're saying.
Well, what were you going to say?
Oh,
Bill Stinker.
well, I was just basically what I was gonna say was I'm not saying that you don't have a point. And I will admit that I tend to latch onto extremely specific things in songs and be sad when they're not there.
Mm.
So
Well, and I guess my thought process is like if they take something that has a specific personality and they completely change it, then I feel like that changes the feel to the point where I'm bothered. But as another example, so for the remake of Xenoblade Chronicles, the original, I remember the song McConis Field. There was one very specific like note. I think it was just a single note that was missing that you mourned over.
yes.
And I didn't even notice that it was gone.
Yes.
And so I think that's the difference I'm trying to delineate. The song still felt, other than that one missing note, it felt very similar. So not that I'm saying one way is better than the other.
No.
I'm just saying, for me, Petalburg in the reorchestration felt like it had a different feel, and that kind of
the vibes were different.
The vibes were different. And so for me, like if they can use different sounding instrumentation but still give me the same feel as what the original did, then I don't really latch on to whether or not everything about it is reproduced exactly the same.
Okay.
Anyway, I will say, back to this mystery song that you're expecting to not like, I feel like they did actually a very good job of replicating almost all of the instrumentation. In fact, I can't really point to anything that I feel like is specifically missing.
Okay.
Lisa, yes, it does.
Okay, good.
I was going to say that to you. It still does the sucking through a straw sound. But on top of that, they added some more like melodic, moody instrumentation to it that I feel like just fleshes the thing out to high heaven. So I like it so much better. Anyway,
right. I hope. Well, wait. No, I'm not off my soapbox yet.
Okay, go.
You activated me, and now I must reap the reward.
It has been triggered.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, McConis Field was missing a note that was integral to my enjoyment of the song, and also you will know our names was missing like a thing where the guitar the guitar just like the way it doesn't cut off abruptly. They like kind of seems like they let go of the strings in a way
they kind of slide down the fret.
Yeah, it was so cool, and they didn't have that in their remake, and it made me so sad, and so I can't like that song better. So yes, I am neurotic about it. What?
That's an example where Lisa and I tend to have do similar things, because that was something I couldn't like better. I was like, well, this song is inferior. It doesn't have the cool sound.
Out the fun thing. I guess my point is that I know that I can kind of be neurotic about it, but and I'm not saying I'm not saying that Anthony doesn't. How was I going to say this? Basically, what Anthony calls how the song feels, for me, how the song feels is inexorably tied to how it is. However, the vibes can be the same while the song is literally different. So
maybe we're saying the same thing.
Yeah,
but
with different
you
lingo.
you call vibes what I call feel.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
yeah, I guess I don't know. I kind of feel like feel is almost like a mouthfeel thing for me. I don't taste wine, but almost like a wine tasting thing. And there's a note missing in my wine. Anyway.
That's fair.
Wait, can I make a point about the music?
Yes.
Though?
No.
Because since we're still on this topic, I feel like Nintendo did a good job of appealing. Is that the right word? Appeasing both crowds. In the sense, I was over the moon when I found out that they had a badge where you could listen to the original music.
Yeah,
And
that
so
was fun.
having that there,
Because Austin and I didn't get that experience like the rest of you did.
right?
Well, yeah, Anthony had to convince me not to use that badge.
I mean, you can use it when you like, just don't use it the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Give it a chance.
Yeah, and I just toggle back and forth to do some comparing. But yeah,
Just equip it when you're in Petalburg and everything's okay.
Yeah. In my defense, the way that I kind of experience listening to music, this is a little bit off topic, but I still want to say it. The way I experience listening to music, I feel like I haven't heard other people describe their experience this way, but it's where my brain basically tries to make its own recording inside itself of what I'm hearing. Basically, once that recording has as much fidelity as it can have, that's when I'm bored of the song. So then when I go back to listen to a song and my brain's like, I have the recording, I'm ready to do compare. Let's see if our fidelity is still on or if we need to fix anything. And there's something off, and it's not because I left something off, it's because it left something off. That's when it's like, oh, could they? So. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I'm glad that you've been giving it a chance, and I will say once again, that this is not a roast of Lisa's preferences, or like this long, meandering exploration of music theory and preference in the middle of our Paper Mario video.
Important. I've been listening with the volume all the way up.
Good.
Giving it a chance.
Good job.
All right.
Good
so now
job.
that
Okay.
Now that I've had that soapbox, I can say I've gotten only to where I have the Sun and Moon stones because I've been a busy growl. And it's been fun. I've liked it. I don't like Austin said, I haven't minded the 30 FPS. I will say, I read an article that was like saying something like, oh, the 30 FPS should make some of the timing easier. But apparently they also made the multi-bounce badge, or the one where you can bounce forever. They made that like nigh on to impossible, and people.
Oh, I hate that one. Sorry. Is it power bounce or?
I don't know.
It's not multi-bounce. Multi-bounce allows you to hit multiple
but
enemies.
bounce on the same one forever.
Yes.
I think it's power bounce, and it's the bane
So
of my
apparently
existence.
they changed the timing because it used to be like 7 frames, something, and then it just kind of gradually went down to 1. But apparently now it goes like 7, 7, 1, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1.
But that's why I always miss it.
What?
Yeah, I heard it's the
What?
Yeah.
I heard it's the fourth bounce. The fourth bounce is
Has to be
they
frame
said
perfect.
it actually requires perfect, not just one frame. Like in
Oh.
order to get past that point, you have to do one perfect at the fourth bounce. But anyway,
I'm glad I haven't tried this yet.
Yeah.
I've wasted
I have
so
that,
many
right?
flower points trying
Aw.
to get it down, trying to nail this. And you can ask my wife. I was so frustrated. I was ready to.
Oh.
I wasn't gonna throw my controller, but I was ready to say some choice words.
Well, I guess basically this is to say if you are struggling with the power bounce or whatever, they apparently made it more difficult on purpose. Maybe because they saw videos of people just doing a bounce until the boss was dead. Because I think there were people that.
I
did
mean,
that.
it's a fair point. Damage values are low in this game, and so and so are health values. So if you can just get fighting a boss and you do like a 15 bounce run and you're done. Like, where's the challenge?
But
No, I
it costs
think
50 flower points.
Dang, it does.
I think I remember watching a video where somebody was fighting like a super boss or something, and they just killed it by bouncing on it forever. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong. But.
Well, yeah, I mean that's understandable, but it's like where do you find the balance? Where do you?
Yeah,
It's got to be some give and take.
Where do you not make Austin grumpy?
oh.
Note to self: do not try this.
Look, even if you start doing 0 damage after the 4th bounce, I just want to bounce on his head all day, like without issues. Without issues, I would literally bounce, like, I kid you not, twice or 3, not even twice, and I would struggle with it. I'm just like, okay, this. Whatever.
Well, have you guys talked to the Battle Master and practiced?
I was gonna say there is a battle
That's where
master
I
we
was-
can talk
that's
to and
where I
practice
was-
without losing your flower.
Yeah, that's where I started to practice it on, because I was like, I can't get this. I'm just gonna go practice this for like an hour.
Yeah. Currently, I'm trying to get back into the practice of getting my stylish moves.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
Do you have the badge that shows you the timings?
no, but when you practice with the Battle Master, it shows you the timings.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I
never
remember.
mind.
Oh, it does.
I remembered.
Oh, that's why I should practice.
Yeah. That's that. So I practiced with him, and then I've just remembered it. I remembered Mario's timings from the first game, like for both hammer and jump. I remembered them, just because my finger was like, oh, I know what to do. But for Goombella, I didn't. So it helped me learn hers.
I totally discovered the stylish moves on accident.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Me too.
I was like, whoa, how did I do that?
accidentally-
Wait, whoa.
David.
Yeah, the same thing happened, Steve, for me. Like, I was like, what did he just do? Why is he spinning like crazy? With like
Oh,
his on.
yeah.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
was like, oh, now I remember there was.
I think it was
stylish
after a
moves.
hammer move. Yeah. I think my mind was after a hammer move, and then he did a backflip, and I was like, whoa, how do you do that?
Yeah. Okay, but after the backflip, if you push A again, then he'll go like this with confetti.
Yep.
What?
Mario-
do 2
Mario-
stylish
Yeah.
moves there.
Mario usually.
Well, I heard it here
has at
first. I
least
didn't know
2
that.
stylish moves. So
Okay.
Mario has at least
Okay.
2. Goombella, as far as I could tell, she has 1, but I'm kind of shocked about that. But I went into the Battle Master and it only ever said push A at a certain point. I don't know. Maybe I'm timing something
Okay.
else wrong. But and if you do the spiky hammer attack, you can do like 1, 2, 3, 4 flips and then go like this and have confetti. Like that one. That's why I say at
What?
least 2 stylish. Sometimes more.
Nice.
My mind
You
is
know the
blown.
other
I'm gonna
thing-
go get my Switch.
In addition to the stylish moves, I don't think I ever knew about Super Guard when I played the game originally.
I didn't either.
So the Battle Master taught me that.
I'm glad
that's
they-
fun.
Yeah, I'm
Sometimes
glad
just-
they actually talked about it in this game, because I heard
Yeah.
it wasn't a thing. But yeah, or like
Yeah,
it was
I
a thing,
also
but it
heard
was
it
like
wasn't
It
hidden.
wasn't explained. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Was
it's
it
a
the
fun
same button
thing.
though? Was it B?
I think it was B. I think it
Yeah, it's
was.
a different button.
Okay.
I like sometimes I'm just in the mood for like an extra challenge, so I'm like, I'm gonna try Super Guard this time, and I usually fail, but like when I succeed, it's like that was fun, you know. Take that enemy who tried to hurt me.
I've had some successes.
Can I? So, were you done? Were you gonna say more, Lisa, about your impressions of the game?
Well, I'm not super far yet, but
Okay.
it seems nice. I like it.
I want to give my impressions, and I think I'm coming to this game with a little different perspective than most Paper Mario fans. I mean, first of all, Anthony and Lisa, I remember them hyping up the original game a lot. They played it before me, and then I played it and I enjoyed it, but it didn't quite live up to the hype for me for some reason. It's like, oh,
David. I'll just say, David is notoriously easy to overhype. There you
yeah.
go. Go on, David.
Well, I wasn't disappointed with the game. It was more like, what made it so special for everyone else? You know, that's kind of how I thought. So coming back to it, it's been fun to revisit and like give it a second chance and see if I can figure out why I felt that way and if I deserved it. You know, like as everyone else has said, playing the game, I love the visual upgrades. I think it looks beautiful. I just got to the forest place, Gobbly Woods. What's it called?
Bogly Woods.
However,
Bogly Woods. I love that like shimmering leaf effect they have on all the floors and stuff.
yes.
So I love the visual upgrades are worth it to me. If nobody said a word about the frame rate difference, I don't think I would even have known in the slightest. I think I have to do like side-by-side comparisons to notice the frame rate difference. So I'm just perfectly happy with the remake. I love the little quality of life things they've added as well, just all over the place. I've heard, for example, later in the game, they fixed some of the backtracking you have to do, so it's a lot less tedious. Little quality of life things like that make it awesome.
Well, so yeah, I'll give my thoughts real quickly then, and I will say that I actually have a lot of similarities to David's statements, but from a different angle. Let's put it this way: when considering the two schools of Paper Mario game design, the schools being the old school with Paper Mario, the original Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, and Super Paper Mario, which I do include, even though it was mechanically different. And then the new school, as I call it, with Sticker Star, Color Splash, and the Origami King. On the whole, I am very much against the new school. I kind of hate the new school for the things that it kind of excised from what I loved so much about the original games. I hate how the battle systems are, they're gimmicks meant to be, designed to be unique rather than to be fun. I have never touched Sticker Star, and I never planned to. I did play Color Splash, but it was kind of a chore. And it wasn't until Origami King that I started to feel like, okay, wait, no, this is starting to check my boxes again. And so I kind of wanted to talk about my experience with Thousand Year Door from that lens, but also talk about how I feel like an intermixing of the best parts of both schools is what I hope we can see in the future because of what they're doing with this remake of Thousand Year Door. So to kind of use the same angle in a sense that David did, I actually also really liked the Origami King. I had different perspectives on some things.
You guys are making sure not to give me spoilers, right?
I'll be careful. I didn't enjoy the battle system in the Origami King very much. Anyway, I felt like it was another one of those cases where it was gimmicky and just put there just to be unique and not necessarily to be fun. But I also felt like it was tolerable enough that I could actually enjoy it for what it was and mostly gloss over it. Now,
did you take my advice to start skipping those battles that you didn't need to do, though?
To some degree, but here's my counter argument to why I feel like that's still a flaw, is that if you design a game where the combat system is so bad that you just don't engage with it, then where's the game?
Yes, that's fair. But look,
I would agree to an extent, because in that Thousand Year Door, they circumvent that with the I don't know, the ability with the hammer, where if you're fighting a weak enemy that you're just running across because I think that's what it is, the first strike badge. Yeah, thank you. That way you don't have to go through the entire battle sequence. If you're just quickly backtracking, you don't have to fight all the enemies again, because it would be kind of a pointless battle at that point.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But now consider that.
Sorry. What you're describing is built into Origami King. You level up and you just smack the enemy and they're gone. You don't have to do a battle with them anymore if they're weak enough. But anyway, go ahead.
As I've clearly established, I am very much, I'm very much in the old school. I very much prefer, that approach to characterization, to, maybe not necessarily narrative, although I feel like the narrative was always strong with the earlier games, and absolutely with the battle mechanics. I feel like, the Thousand Year Door in particular, I feel like perfected the rewarding feel of the combat, and that's been really well preserved with this remake. It's pretty much one-to-one with what they've done there, and I've really enjoyed re-engaging with a system that I thought that based on the series director's own statements was something we should expect to be dead for the rest of time. The Thousand Year Door was supposed to be the impossible remake, much less the impossible port. I mean, a lot of us old school fans would have given our left kidney to get even just a port, and and never expected that to be a possibility because, once again, Miyamoto, at least I feel like he's the one who gets the credit. Put his hands in way too far and took out all the things I loved most about about Paper Mario, and then they doubled down by saying this is going to be a thing. And so when the Thousand Year Door remake was announced, I was over the moon, and I'm just really pleased with what they've done with it. They've given it an incredible spit shine. The game looks fantastic. It plays just as well as I remember it before, and the quality of life improvements just make it that much better of an experience. The things I did not expect that I'm finding thoroughly enjoyable is some of the additional improvements they've added, specifically with music, that felt very much like a distillation of the best of the new school, or at least the best of the Origami King. I've never been the biggest fan of Thousand Year Door's original soundtrack. There's a lot of sorry, Lisa.
Oh dear.
I think it was instrumental to making it the game that it was. I think those songs were part of what made it a masterpiece. But I would also compare it to my thoughts on the temple themes from Ocarina of Time. The Forest Temple does not make for good listening. I'm not a fan of that's not my style.
Come on.
So
It does make good atmospheric music, though. Just not good listening.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. In game, it's fantastic, and that's how I felt about a lot of Thousand Year Door's the original game's soundtracks. There's some standouts, but I didn't really favor it for listening, and I feel like that's something that they've really changed in the remake. I feel like they've added a lot of the melodies that I felt like the original lacked. That kind of keeps that same feel, but makes it a lot easier for me to listen to. So there's been a lot of changes they've made there that I've really enjoyed. And I have to say, the first time I detected an Origami King leitmotif in one of the songs, I just about flipped my lid, because I'm like, no, hold on. Oh my gosh, that was a quote from such and such song, which, the first time I discovered it was actually, a leitmotif from my favorite song from the Origami King. And I listened to it over and over again, and I was just so pleased, because again, music is my favorite thing about the Origami King. And so there's been a number of things they did, not only in terms of adding additional melodies and orchestrations to existing songs, but also some unexpected tweaks of, I feel like this is probably getting into spoiler territory, at least for Lisa, since she's a music person. I'll just say that there was some things they did with existing repeated tracks that I was very surprised by, and very, very pleasantly surprised. It's something that also really was channeling a lot of the design methodologies of the Origami King, for at least from a musical standpoint. So anyway, I've just been, I think all in all, on top of it just being a beautiful recreation of the game I already loved, they added some accentuations that have made it, have raised it to the next level for me. And what's more, and maybe this is my concluding thought, because we're running pretty long here. We have a lot to say about this game, and also
it's a good game,
and also a game that is not this game.
Sorry.
I did it too.
I'm the same series.
No, I'm doing it too. I'm doing it too. And it's important, and it's an important backdrop and juxtaposition, because again, I think I'm probably the resident old school Paper Mario fan here, and I'm finding myself really pleased by the ways that they seem to be melding the two into a better product. The Thousand Year Door. Go ahead.
I say the best old school game and the best new school game. That's how I see it.
Yeah. And, the Thousand Year Door, from my perspective at least, was already such an amazing game that if they had just basically given it a facelift and made everything else the same, it still would have been an incredible experience. But for me, taking the things I loved most about the Origami King, which again is a game I really quite enjoyed, and putting it into my favorite entry in the series and making it better thereby, not only just made me all the happier with my experience with this remake, but also gives me hope for the future of the series. Because I mean, look, if I had to pick one over the other, I'm absolutely going to take old school. But if I can get both, that's absolutely what I want more. Because that combination has made for, from my perspective, a much better package, and also gives, again, it makes me think, what, we might actually be seeing a whole new era of Paper Mario that's going to be better than both of the current ones combined. Because if they can take what's the incredible foundation of the old school and mix it with the the presentation and the accentuations of the new school, and just distill only the best parts of both of those things, we're in for a treat. And I think that this 1,000 Year Door remake is a really solid taste of what might be to come. I'm really hopeful that this is a sign of what the series is going to bring, and I'm here for it. I'm voting with my wallet as hard as I can, I'll tell you that much. And
you should see how many copies he bought. No, I'm just kidding.
I bought one. I'm still a poor person.
We're all saving for a Switch 2. That's what's happening.
But if they make more games like this, I'm going to drop money on them, even if they fall into my backlog, because we already know how long that thing's going to live. But I'm really pleased with what they've done. And so I guess the way that I will tie up my thoughts here, and tie up this discussion, is just that I think that the future is bright for Paper Mario, and I think that them taking the best of both schools and putting it as, in a sense, a proof of concept into what most seem to argue as the best entry in the series, and certainly I agree with that. It just feels like that proof of concept we need to get the Paper Marios we deserve, and this is the first one that feels that way, for a long time from my perspective, and I am ready for more.
I will give my Paper Washingtons for the Paper Marios.
Yes, there you go.
I had to think about that for a second, but that was really great. I love that. Way to go, Lisa.
Thank you.
You heard it here first. Sorry, Steve, I took your saying, but
hey, that's okay. Use it. Yeah.
So if you have enjoyed this video, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you can hear more of our ramblings. And let us know what your thoughts about the game have been, what you like about it, what you don't like, what you hope for the future of the series. We want to hear from you guys, because you've heard plenty from us. But
Let's go.
But yeah, thanks so much for listening, and until next time, keep it nerdy.
Nerdy.